Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, Ba'Shem Rakah HaKodash. My name is Cowboy from Plain Tables Camp, Philly. Now, these would be two of the books we're using, and this book has the Maccabees, 5 books of the Maccabees, and we're focusing, and if it would focus, and we're focusing in on the ivy leaf of Bacchus, which also is Dionysus. And so we're going to be comparing the translations for Mark in the Greek and the what is in the book on the right. I believe it's known as the third book of the Maccabees. All right, it's the Septuagint with the Apocrypha, Brenton. So it has the English and the Greek. And so we're going to be looking up Mark. All right. So this is from Genesis or Genesis to Malachi. All right. That's in the front of the book. Now you go to the back of the book, or near the back, you'll find the Apocrypha, Greek and English, in parallel columns. I use the this book because the wording's a little different, so I had to find, like where it said the ivy leaf of Bacchus. And let's show you that first. (210 BC). Mark with the ivy leaf. That those who are registered shall have a mark imprinted by fire upon their body, namely the ivy leaf, the emblem of Bacchus, which is Dionysus. All right. I'm going to show you that in the book of Acts. So the point here is the Greek. That's why you have parallel Bibles. There's my little pointer, right? So you see the parallel. All right. So we're gonna go to 27. You see stigma right there also. It says his purpose was to inflict a public stigma upon our race, whereon he erected a pillar at the tower porch and caused the following inscription to be engraven. The entrance to the temple was refused to all those who would not sacrifice, that all the Jews were to be registered among the common people, that those who registered were those who resisted were to be forcibly seized and put to death. Those who were thus registered were to be marked on their persons with the ivy leaf symbol of Dionysus, and to be set apart from those who with these limited rights. So I couldn't find stigma. That's in 27. Well, I didn't actually look for it. Come on now. But we got 28. We got graphon. All right. That's why you got to know Greek. All right. I can clearly see that's graphon for 28. We're going to go down here. That's Dionysus right there. Dionysus. And the word in question here is, we got Karesestai. Karesestai. It sounds like Karex, right? From Karagma. So I believe that is marked. All right. Or to be marked on their persons with the ivy leaf of Dionysus or Bacchus. All right, those were to be marked. That's 29. 29 were to be marked. Let's go. 29. Carax or caras. Caras. Ses. Thigh. Caresses thigh. Cares. Well, you can focus in on cares right there. Caresses thigh. So I found that exact word and the first part of the word here in an analytical lexicon of the Septuagint. It's one of the first books I bought in 2009. Now this is when you'll see this in the scriptures when the charagma goes back down to carex with that big E looking thing. Carex. And the word that we saw in the parallel Greek English Septuagint was this word. Well, you see the first part, cares. I said what? Ses thigh. You got cares. Cares thigh. And you go over to the right, cares thigh. Go to the right, you see careso. On the right side of that, just keep going to the right. Try not to move to the right, I won't lose the page. And you go down here, it's the same word, careso, to provoke, plus poetically. To engrave, to write, to be stamped, to be branded. All right? And these all words are very similar. All right. Go to carex, palisade, bulwark, stockdale, a trench. All right. Caraco. Caraco, to fence with stakes. All right, now I'm going to show you carex in charagma in Revelation 13:16. All right, and this is the word. We're going to go back over to it. Carex or cares sestai, which means to engrave, to write, to be stamped, to be branded. All right, let's go back over here. That's DIONYSUS. 29. Dionysus. And we got caresestai. To be marked. I think you get the picture. So the word marked, caresestai, or cares, which means something cut into, carved, branded. Palisade, bulwark. All right. You got charagma. Charagma goes back to crux. Right. The only difference is the mark of the ivy leaf of Bacchus or ivy leaf of Dionysus has a stigma at the end. And it means the same thing. Palisade, rampart, a stake, sharpen. As you see here, yeah, Karax. And Karax on the left side comes from Karaso, which means to engrave, to write, to be stamped, to be branded. Even tells you here in the blue letter, the same thing. Karax comes from Karaso. All right, same word. All right, so the point is, it's physical. The charagma is physical. Now back then, the Karax was physical, and it was the ivy leaf of Dionysus. You got Dionysus, devoted to Bacchus. All right, so it's the same word. So back in the third book of the Maccabees, you have the word mark, which was a symbol that was burned in to Israelites that consented into the Greek religion. All right, so it's physical. So the modern day mark is the implant RFID chip. All right, this was the mark in the ancient world amongst the Macedonian Greeks that were forcing the Israelites and other groups of people that lived in the area to consent into the Greek religion. And the word for mark is, break it down, chares ses thigh. Mark. You can see that. And you can see mark directly on the same exact line. Actually, if you go to the right, register word to be marked on their person with the ivy leaf of Dionysus. All right. Chares ses thigh. Go to the right, karesa, to provoke, poetically, to engrave, to write, to be stamped, to be branded. All right. And you see these similar words. This charagma breaks down into carex, Palisade, Borax, Stockdale. So they're similar. So what is the type? Back then, it was the ivy leaf of Bacchus, which means dedicated to Bacchus. The ivy leaf of Dionysus, which means dedicated to Bacchus. All right, which I believe that's the god of wine. It's being free. It's being free, doing anything you want. And charagma is not in here. So yeah, so the gamma would be near here. So it's not here. It's no gamma, charagma. But the words are very similar. So the difference between karax and karas, and with the x right there, that's the root word of charagma. And with that big E looking thing. And we have caressa. It's a stigma. It's an S. All right. They're similar words. All right. So back then it was the ivy leaf of Dionysus, which means dedicated to Bacchus. And today the charagma is the implantable RFID chip. All right. So this is proof that whatever mark, it is physical. And that has been the point of this lesson. All right. I'm going to go over this one last time. That those who were thus registered were to be marked on their persons with the ivy leaf of Dionysus, and to be set apart with these limited rites, were to be marked, symbol of Dionysus. Karas Sestai. And Dionyso. That's how you say Dionysus. Within the proper syntax of the sentence for here. Now, I do recognize another word right in front of Karesistai. We got apographominos. That probably means to register. Because I recognize grapho. That's from here. Grapho. Apographominos. So I'm believing it probably means to register. Which register means like to write down, like the names. So that makes sense. Alright. So the within the ancient world, the Macedonian Greeks, which are Edomites, that were imposing their customs on the Israelites at the time, you had to conform to their religion, and when you conformed, you had to be marked with the registered and marked with the ivy leaf of Dionysus, and that's something physical. That was something that was burned in to your flesh, and if you didn't, you were to be put to death. All right, so I looked up stigma also in the 27th verse here. The word there, the purpose was to inflict a public stigma upon our race. What it's saying, it's saying that the first word means herald. So that first word means a herald, which a herald is a person or official messenger bringing news of what? Of that we were at fault. We were guilty of something. We were a lesser people. That's the stigma it's referring to. A personal thing viewed as a sign that something is about to happen, or what brought down to the lowest registry and be put to death. So that first word means herald. It'd be a sign that something is about to happen. The speech heralded a change in policy. Yeah, that's what those Greeks were doing to us. Policy was you had to convert. You had to get the ivy leaf of Dionysus. Announced signal, point two. And so that went out. That decree went out for everyone to be branded, which is it's physical. It's not something spiritual or mental in your mind. It was physical back then, and for that particular time period. And today, it's also physical with a different type of branding, which is going to be the RFID chip. All right. Second word is belonging to the state public. Third word is to pass on, to spread about. And the fourth word, fault censor, to express disapproval, especially a formal statement. All right. So, in other words, the stigma is going to be disapproval. All right, that's the word there. Sagan. That means to express disapproval. That's the stigma. All right, so the stigma here was disapproval. Basically, there will be, as you read or heard before, our ancestors would be brought to the lowest register, be made like the common people. So we would have less rights within the Greek Empire, under the Edomites. So that would be the stigma. All right, upon our race. All right, disapproval, censor, fault. All right, and ethnos is race. Right there, ethnos, race. Right, that's what ethnos means. It means race, a group of people, at the very least. But it really means race of people, a group of people of the same culture. All right, and beginnings. All right. Now, and in the 5th book of the Maccabees, Henry Cotton, is translated as accusation. For you now propose being forward publicly an accusation against our nation, but the word there in the Greek is sagan, to officially all right, and that means to disapprove, to officially disapprove of. So it's a stigma, figuratively. All right, the actual literal stigma is down here with the mark imprinted by fire of the ivy leaf of Dionysus or Bacchus. It's Dionysus in the Greek right there. All right, so accusation, like a proverb, that would be a stigma. Figuratively, a stigma.
Gave you the idea that you wanted to really be a walking computer?
So I've always been a tech enthusiast, and I always try to be on the cutting edge of technology.
So that drove Brandon Delali to do what some might believe only takes place in a science fiction movie.
It gets inserted into your skin.
A chip, and not the type you eat, but a microchip, has been implanted in Brandon's left hand.
This one is just a little guy right there.
Yeah, I see that right there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So after that was inserted and the swelling went down, I'm able to open up the front and back door to my house. I can walk up to people and have them tap their phone to my hand and instantly transfer my contact information, my portfolio, my COVID vax card.
But Brandon got to thinking, why stop there? He's got 2 hands, right? And plenty of room for more chips.
So I thought, how cool would it be if I could leave my house, no car key, no house key.
So 2 weeks ago, right here in Michigan, Brandon got another chip implanted, this one in his right hand, to unlock and start his Tesla.
It's a perfect backup, something you can never forget, something that doesn't break, something that won't fail you.
And if you think having chips implanted in your body requires a doctor or is costly, well, think again.
The chips themselves are anywhere from between $200 and $300, and the install only ran me about $100 because you can go to a local piercing shop who will obviously agree to do the installation. All the programming and coding of putting the apps on the chip, that's all done by me.
Moving forward, Brandon is thinking about having other chips implanted in his body.
So it'll be inserted right under or right over your breast, and then you can tap your phone to your chest and instantly get temperature readings.
And with all this talk about chips, Brandon hopes the chip for the Tesla gets the attention of you-know-who.
It would make all this worth it if maybe just like a thumbs up from Elon or something, or a simple emoji. I don't know, that'd be pretty cool.
In Oakland County, Ingrid Kelly, Fox 2.